What's up, space pirates? This is your captain, the Dread Pirate Dr. Disaster. And one of the most pathetic things that we can witness in the gaming industry is when a company runs and hides from reviews for a game that is about to come out. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is set to release in a week, and we haven't really seen or heard much of anything about the game, despite the fact that it is being published by Bethesda, and it obviously features a franchise that is well known and was at one point quite popular. And at this stage, it seems fairly obvious that Machine Games, the developer, is counting on the brand name to sell the game, because they just aren't releasing any new information, and it looks as though the review embargo prevents reviewers from talking about the game until the moment that early release begins.
Oh, what a loser!
This tweet just dropped explaining that reviewers are gagged when it comes to this game until it's actually in the hands of some gamers already. It says Xbox won't allow critics to post reviews or thoughts of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle until the game launches for the public in early access. Microsoft is not confident the game will be well received. Now, we can only speculate as to why they aren't confident in the game, but one thing we don't have to speculate on is the fact that there is no hype behind this title at all, and that it doesn't look like it's going to be very successful.
I'm the champion of failures!
Personally, I expect that Indy's female sidekick will end up being insufferable and will end up being a bigger part of the game than most people would prefer. Considering some of the people who made this game, I expect it to have been made for the modern audience. And I also expect that the gameplay isn't going to be well received at all. It's already been described by some as a bad stealth game. But the point is that this practice of not allowing players to hear about your game prior to release is very anti-consumer, putting us in a position where all we can do is speculate about whether or not the game is something that we want to play. And worse than that, it tells us exactly what the attitude of this company is. They want you to spend your money based on the IP alone, and then, once they have your money, this is their plan.
Get the hell out of here!
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you smash the like button on this video and drop a comment to feed the algorithm monster. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We just hit another subscriber milestone, so most of you know what that means. It's time to ask the burning question.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
Yo!
There are now 99,000 space pirate a-holes in this fleet of ours, and, as is customary on this channel, with every 1,000 subscribers, we add a new ship to the fleet in order to house the newcomers. This time, one of you suggested the Jetsons flying car, which you can see featured floating around here. If you have any recommendations of your own, feel free to drop them into the comment section below, and I'll add them to my list. Super chats get bumped to the top of that list, and also, don't forget that once we break through that 100,000 subscriber count, we are going to finish that incomplete Death Star that we've got floating around in the background there. But, in any case, thanks for being a part of this, everyone. I really appreciate it.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Anyways, let's dive on in to the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle situation and see what the latest is with this game. It's been getting some shit online for a couple of reasons. First of all, the game has an absolutely gigantic download size, being 131 gigs, and a good chunk of the game is just a bunch of cutscenes. The game will supposedly take 11 to 17 hours to complete, and the game has 4 hours worth of cutscenes. I really get a kick out of the byline of this Games Radar article right here, where it says that's like 2 free Indiana Jones movies with your Indiana Jones game. These people will shill absolutely anything. Because here in the real world, we look at something like that and think that it sounds as though the studio is just padding the game length time. It sounds to me like there is very little meat on the bone of this game, which is likely a good reason as to why people are not allowed to release reviews of it until it's already available to players. The problem that they're running into with this little trick with this game, where a game studio banks on the IP brand name in order to sell it, is the fact that the franchise is damaged goods right now after the colossal disappointment of last year's Dial of Destiny. They aren't exactly in a good place with the old Lucasfilm properties. This is why the game hasn't even cracked the top 200 over on the Steam top seller list, despite the fact that there is not much competition right now for other games being released. I think people are completely checked out of this shit. And yes, I know that a lot of you want to tell me that this isn't a big deal because the game is being released on Game Pass at launch, so of course sales are down. But let me humbly remind you that Stalker 2, The Heart of Chernobyl, just launched on Game Pass as well. On the same day that the game came out, it was available on Game Pass, and that game sold 1 million copies in one day. So, being on Game Pass is not a blanket excuse for a game to not sell well. Sure, a Game Pass launch will depress sales to some extent, but Stalker 2 proved that doesn't completely kill sales. And now, I could tell you that according to my sources in retail, the game is selling abysmally low, way less than Dragon Age and Star Wars Outlaws, which were both massive disappointments, but we will compare the game to Stalker 2, which launches on the same platforms, the Xbox and the PC, and they both are launching with Game Pass. Now, I have 4 contacts in retail, and the first one runs 9 stores that sell video games, and in those 9 stores, they were sitting at 57 pre-orders for Stalker 2 a week before launch. Indiana Jones is sitting at 5. And the other contacts that I have are reporting numbers that aren't any better. The next contact runs over a dozen stores, and they have sold 9 copies of Indiana Jones, whereas Stalker 2 had seen 99 pre-orders a week before its launch. And then another contact runs 17 stores, and they had sold 47 copies of Stalker 2 a week ahead of launch, but they've only sold 6 copies of Indiana Jones. And the last contact has access to the sales data of 5 retail stores, and they have only sold 2 copies of Indiana Jones on pre-order, but they had sold 15 copies of Stalker 2 a week ahead of its launch. So yeah, Indiana Jones is not doing well at all. In fact, it is only marginally better than the absolute flop that was Unknown 9 Awakening at these retail stores. The Indiana Jones franchise just does not command the same level of respect that it used to. But I'm going to leave it there. Drop your thoughts down below. Why do you think these guys are avoiding reviews? Leave your thoughts in the comment section and we will talk there.
Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.